Hello, this is Robert French, and this is something to think about. It goes without saying that we are living in perilous times. There is a political war going on in our country and around the world with seemingly no solution. No matter who wins in November, the war will continue because those who choose to live in darkness will never give up seeking ultimate power over the lives of the people they want to rule. What I think is interesting is how people act surprised at this. As I've said before, what's new? Every government or kingdom that has ever been was taken down by those who wanted to corrupt it and use it as a tool to suppress the people. Rome started out with many of the same ideas that our country was founded on. In fact, we have a Roman form of government, even copying the name Senate for one of our bodies and calling ourselves a republic, as was Rome. Roman citizens were granted certain rights that were protected by law. Even the Bible bears this out in the book of the Acts, and it reads, "Up to this word they listened to him. Then they raised their voices and said, 'Away with such a fellow from the earth, for he should not be allowed to live.' As they were shouting and throwing off their cloaks and flinging dust in the air, the tribune ordered him to be brought into the barracks, saying that he should be examined by flogging to find out why they were shouting against him like this. But when they had stretched him out for the whips, Paul said to the centurion who was standing by, 'Is it lawful for you to flog a man who is a Roman citizen and uncondemned?' When the centurion heard this, he went to the tribune and said to him, 'What are you about to do? For this man is a Roman citizen.' So the tribune came and said to him, 'Tell me, are you a Roman citizen?' And he said, 'Yes.' The tribune answered, 'I bought this citizenship for a large sum.' Paul said, 'But I am a citizen by birth.' So those who were about to examine him withdrew from him immediately. And the tribune also was afraid, for he realized that Paul was a Roman citizen and that he had bound him. This clearly shows the citizens were allowed a certain protection under Roman law. However, it is a fact of history that as time went by, the powers that governed Rome became more and more corrupt, and it eventually brought the empire down to destruction. And today, all we see is ruins. All around the world today, we see governments imposing the threat of persecution to anyone who does not bow to their express will, and it is beginning to show itself in the United States. Churches are being attacked and threatened. They will be shut down if they attempt to have services. The woman running for vice president said recently that churches were just places where propaganda was being preached and more. They hate Jehovah and all those who follow him and would, as the people who condemned Paul, destroy us all if they could. I said all of the foregoing to make a point, and that is, what are we as believers supposed to do in these kinds of times? Are we supposed to hide ourselves away and just hope conditions will change for the better? I think not. I think it is time for the people who follow Jesus to be very courageous. Paul, writing a letter from the prison in Rome, said some very striking things to the church at Philippi considering his condition. He wrote, "I want you to know, brothers, that what has happened to me has really served to advance the gospel, so that it has become known throughout the whole imperial guard and to all the rest that my imprisonment is for Christ. And most of the brothers, having become confident in the Lord by my imprisonment, are much more bold to speak the word without fear." Later in the same discourse, he continues with, "As it is my eager expectation and hope that I will not be at all ashamed, but that with full courage, now as always, Christ will be honored in my body, whether by life or by death." We see by this that even though he was in prison, the gospel was effective, if we by courage will declare it. No less than 14 times in the Old Testament, the word courageous is used to encourage the people of Israel to stand up for what is right. It takes courage in times like these to stand up as a believer and continue to declare the truth of the gospel of Jesus. And that is something to think about. Until next time, remember, give love, give life, give Jesus.